Hello, I'm happy to be here. On the first day of my Hinduism course, I asked my students, what images come to mind when you think about Hinduism? Some of the responses include, holy cow, God with many arms, and karma. Well, while all of these are at least somehow related to Indian culture, they do not even begin to cover the complex religion known as Hinduism. So in this short presentation, after providing a brief introduction to Hinduism's main tenets, I will focus on the issues of polytheism and goddess worship in Hinduism, as well as Hinduism in the state of California. Hindu religion is considered to be the oldest living religious traditions in the world. One of the distinguishing points of Hinduism is that it embraces diversity and pluralism in terms of both beliefs and practices. Precisely for this reason, some scholars see Hinduism not as one unified entity, but a name of various belief systems. However, there are also many beliefs that unify Hindu tradition. So sometimes we forget that there is a unity as well. Including, these beliefs include the concept of dharma, sacred duty, and karma, and reincarnation. So Hindu tradition has been evolving over 3 millennia on the Indian subcontinent, which would account for its complexity and diversity. The Hindu religion is practiced by the majority of the people of India and Nepal, but its followers can be found in the United States and all over the globe. According to the 2015 census, about 2 million Hindus live in the United States. Did you know that? Most of the Hindus in the United States and California are immigrants from India, Nepal, Bhutan, the Caribbean, and some other countries. Many concepts of Hinduism, such as karma, reincarnation, and yoga, have become prevalent in the American culture. These concepts have gone through transformation when they traveled abroad. Californians have particularly embraced many aspects of Hindu spirituality, which is evidenced by the number of temples, yoga studios, spiritual centers in the state. Yoga classes are offered at our own Fresno State campus. So first, I would like to give a few basic features of Hinduism. Hindu tradition does not have a founder or a central authority figure, like many of my students ask, who is the founder of Hinduism? But does not have a founder. But rather, in Hinduism, many male and female figures known as saints, gurus, yogis, and divine mothers who guide their followers. Additionally, Hinduism does not have one sacred book like the Bible or the Quran. It has many sacred books. Hindu thought also does not have an essential dogma. In other words, it has many belief systems. Due to a plurality of rituals and beliefs, Hindu tradition can be complex to understand and give rise to many questions. So here, in this short time, I'll focus on the often asked question, whether or not Hinduism is polytheistic. Due to the presence of statues of many gods and goddesses in Hindu temples, a common understanding about Hindu religion is that it is polytheistic. Polytheism, literally meaning many godness, is a belief system that worships many god or goddesses. During his travels to India, Mark Twain, I'm sure you have studied Mark Twain sometime in your high school years, remarked, I quote, "India has 2 million gods and worships them all," end quote. The presence of many deities like Hanuman, monkey god, Devi, divine goddess, and Ganesha, elephant-headed god, I'm sure you have seen his pictures somewhere, gives impression of polytheism. Hinduism is broad enough that it embraces a range of visions about God, but categorizing it simply as polytheistic does not do justice to the variety of viewpoints. Many perspectives about gods coexist and are held variously in different subsects of Hinduism all over India. It can be confusing for us sometime in the West. How can you worship all these gods? A more prevalent approach to the divine in Hinduism is as follows. The divine or supreme being in Hinduism is known as Brahman. Different gods and goddesses are seen as the manifestations of one divine being's various attributes. Just as there are many rays of one sun, so there is one divine reality, but its various attributes are worshipped as gods and goddesses. Therefore, many Hindus would actually consider themselves monotheistic, or rather monistic. So monistic is another term for one reality, believing in one divine reality. Whether polytheistic, monotheistic, or monistic, however, the ultimate goal of Hinduism is the realization of the divine within. And when one realizes the divine, then one goes through this transformative experience and achieves this heightened state of awareness. So this transformative experience leads to the understanding of the unity of all beings, the underlying unity of all beings. Not merely an ability of miracle making, because some people just associate with this heightened awareness with the ability of miracle making, but it is more than that. Those who have attained this state are known as saints, yogis, and divine mothers. Both male and female can attain this state through various paths and practices. They are popularly known as yogas. I'm sure you have heard the term yoga, commonly associated with Lululemon attire, very fancy right now nowadays, stretches and breathing exercises. Of course, that is one aspect of the yoga, which is known as the Hatha yoga. But in Hindu tradition, the word yoga literally means union. Different yogas include yoga of devotion, bhakti yoga, yoga of knowledge and discernment, jnana yoga, yoga of meditation, raja yoga, and yoga of selfless action, karma yoga. Mahatma Gandhi practiced the yoga of selfless action in his life. He sought to unite with God by extending love for all beings, even toward his enemies, and serving the destitute and downtrodden people. Modern fascination for Hatha yoga, which is the stretchy bendy exercises in the United States, especially in California, is an example of an appeal of some of the Hindu practices that can be adapted for a secular context. In addition to the diversity within the system, prominent concepts in Hinduism are the beliefs in the doctrine of karma and reincarnation. One of my students at Fresno State explained karma as what goes around comes around. The idea of karma, literally, action and consequence of action extends to afterlife, not just comes around, goes around here in this life. Our life does not end with death, but continues. Therefore, karma is connected with reincarnation. Negative actions may not be punished in this life, but can result in a lower rebirth. Gandhi invoked the concept of karma in support of his nonviolent method for fighting against the British colonialism. According to him, acts of violence perpetuate the cycle of retribution. So when do you stop? It's just an endless cycle. So now, next few minutes, I would like to briefly discuss Hinduism in the United States and California. As mentioned earlier, there are millions of Hindus from various parts of India and other countries living in the United States. And there are many Hindus of non-Indian descent. Historically, the arrival of Hindu religious leaders like Swami Vivekananda to the United States in 1893, who came to address Parliament of the world's religions, marked the beginning of the interaction between Hinduism and American culture. Since then, various aspects of Hindu philosophy have influenced scholars and leaders such as Aldous Huxley, Joseph Campbell, the Beat poet Allen Ginsberg, and the civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr., who was influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence. So Hindus, like many other religious groups in diaspora who are living abroad, away from the native lands, have to constantly reimagine and reinvent their practices and their rituals to suit their new environment. For example, in India, there is a great local diversity in representation of and devotion to gods and goddesses, according to various regions. However, given the regional mixture of Hindu temples in the United States are dedicated to more popular deities of Hindu traditions. The presence of Hinduism is evident by the number of temples in the United States. There are over 300 Hindu temples in the United States, believe it or not, and over 57 Hindu temples in California alone. Unbelievable. They are scattered from San Diego to San Francisco and are dedicated to various gods and goddesses. And each temple is different if you visit them. So if you visit a Hindu temple, you will see that temple known as mandir holds murtis. So the murti is the term we commonly translate as statues, but it's more than that. They're simply representations of both gods and goddesses, where both male and female deities are worshipped. And many temples include also shrine for animal deities. However, some temples are dedicated only to goddesses. In Hinduism, goddess worship continues to be an important part of the tradition. For example, the Devi Temple in Napa Valley, California, is dedicated to the Divine Mother, who is the energy of the universe, has many arms. I'm sure you have seen goddesses with 8 arms or 16 arms. In San Francisco and Laguna Beach, the temples are dedicated to Goddess Kali. Goddess Kali, the dark goddess, in this terrific form with bloody tongue, can be scary for some people, and adorned with the garland of skulls. And people worship that goddess. Kali is the fierce goddess whose worship destroys ignorance. However, in most temples, many goddesses are worshipped, so not just one goddess. For example, Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, Saraswati, goddess of wisdom and knowledge, and Durga, a goddess who rides a lion and provides protection to her devotees. Nice to be worshiping her. She'll protect you from evil. So both men and women worship goddesses. It's not just like women worship goddesses. Moreover, in Hinduism, many male and female saints are also revered. Hindus celebrate male and female saints who display holiness and deep devotion to the divine. They are not simply good people or miracle makers, but they are believed to have direct communion with the divine, and their lives reflect holiness. In Hinduism, sainthood is not attained through death or bestowal of through any process, a political process, but in this lifetime. So many saints serve as guides to their followers, and people worship them as gods and goddesses. A female saint named Ammaji, who is famously known as the hugging saint, travels all over the world teaching the message of love and unity of all beings. She also visits San Ramon, California each year, where she has a big ashram, a holy commune. Many of her devotees, who are not just Indians, they're from all walks of life and all ethnicities and cultures and religions, consider her an incarnation of divine goddess. It is fascinating to see her spending countless hours, day and night, hugging those who seek her blessings and love. Amazing experience. According to Amaji, I quote, "Love is our true essence. She wipes away the tears of her devotees and showers them with the blessings of love and wisdom." The divine goddess is also celebrated through festivals in India and beyond. Navaratri, meaning the festival of 9 nights, is one of the oldest festivals of India that is dedicated to the goddess Durga. The festival is celebrated for 9 days in temples. Various regions in India celebrate this festival differently. For example, in West Bengal, statues of goddess Durga are worshipped for 6 days, and the 7th day they are carried in processions to oceans or rivers and are immersed in waters. And beautiful statues they construct for days and months, and they just put them in the waters. In Punjab, the followers of Durga keep fast for 9 days, not necessarily water fast, maybe fruit fast. And the festival ends with the worship of little girls, who are considered to be the incarnation of goddess. Many temples in California host special worship and devotional dances known as Garba in honor of the goddess Durga. Men, women, and children of all ages dance to devotional music and move around in circles. This dance is meant to stimulate devotion toward the goddess and unity in the community. The sacred bond of love and unity is symbolized through the circle dance. Indians of diverse regions and non-Indians alike participate in the festival. Another festival known as Diwali, I'm sure you have heard that name nowadays, is in the Fresno news also. Festival of Light is dedicated to Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. On this day, Hindus all over the world decorate their homes, offices, and of course, temples with lit candles and oil lamps. In the rural areas of India, the festival is less commercialized and is celebrated with homemade clay lamps and decoration of homes and businesses. People distribute sweets and gifts to family, friends, and the needy. So not so much wrapped gifts, it's more sweets and sharing joy with family members. Hindus celebrate this festival all over California. The festival marks the end of the fall season. It represents the victory of good over evil, and it beckons the followers to keep the light of hope shining. Californians have embraced many practices of Hinduism, from yoga to celebrating spiritual leaders. California is one of the states with the highest number of yoga centers. California also has a variety of centers of various Hindu spiritual leaders. As evidenced by its growing popularity in California, Hinduism's philosophy has influenced American music, art, and dance. But there is a continuing dialogue between Hindus from India and non-Indian practitioners here about the practice of and representations of Hinduism in the United States. So this is a challenge. For example, many Hindu scholars and devout followers express concern about reducing the spiritual tradition of yoga to simply physical exercises and commercializing it as such. At the same time, this diverse and plural religion is open to change, as is evidenced by its history. New ideas emerging from the interaction of cultures are integrated into the thoughts and practices of Hinduism and sometimes exported back to India. So that's a very fascinating phenomenon. India, with globalization and its growing economy, is becoming an important partner in addressing global issues. This new reality has led to serious interchange of cultural and religious ideas between India and the United States, including commercialization of religious festivals and reconsideration of traditions of caste-based marriages. So some are really questioning the caste-based marriages, even in India, and adaptation of various Hindu meditation and philosophical principles in the United States. In the coming years, how this tradition transforms itself for a globalized world will continue to be a part of our discussion. Thank you.